I really didn't think for myself. I mean, I didn't try open relationships until really very, very recently. Obviously, part of that, I realized it made more sense on my end before recently, but I just didn't really have a lot of avenues to go with, although not for a want or for lack of trying. But I totally said, the fact that I didn't realize how big the associations I made, both in favor of in favor of closed relationships, and then also against open relationships. I didn't realize how bad that actually was until I started seeing research on what people do, and certainly the theory of sexual economics helped put a lot of things in perspective as well. But I even told him even bigger than those. I mean, that definitely helped. But also just realizing that I'm way too intense for most people. I mean, the fact that most people can handle me, but only in small doses, because I talk really fast, I'm loud, it's just weird. I mean, and even people that I get along with. I mean, my friend Susan, he's basically my mentor. She's the mother I probably should have had growing up. She even says you are way more intense than most. I mean, of all you're on me a lot of I don't know who it was, but it was just someone who just had a really regardless. I mean, it's and just knowing that I imagine some people are really interested in intense and deep thinking and willing to debate things, but you got to realize when you're really intense, you got to realize you're cutting out probably 95% of applicants, because I ended up realizing a lot of people that didn't like continuing associating with me, whether it be as quote unquote closed relationships or even just as close friends. I was just too intense for them. I mean, for me, the only time I stopped thinking about things deeply or critically, or the only time I stopped being really active is when I go to bed. There's no real drop off. I mean, if I get really tired from work or something, I'll probably be a little slower, but even then, my brain's still clicking pretty good. That's just what I do. And that can really drain people. I mean, and the fact that, it goes back into the whole round peg square hole thing. I mean, that's why I really like the friends group that I have now. I mean, they may not have the same intensity across the board, but they have the same intensity applied in at least some situations. And, that alone is so much better than the kind of crap I was trying to make work before. I mean, it just makes so much more sense this way. But, this also, you can really see where this comes into conflict here, because, a lot of the people who pitched open relationships to me, they were not as intense about things just in general, and then, they didn't really have any real citations or data backing up their, what I thought at the time would be extremely controversial and almost crazy propositions. And so, you say, and those associations just kept on building. I might get spotted here. Oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe I did. Fuck you. And so I even apologized for saying that, look, I mean, I even told her I grouped you into that category. And obviously that was not even remotely true. And, she said, I grouped you into a pretty goofy category as well. Wasted potential, to put it nicely. But no, and then, then of course, I briefly explained how I came around to see that a lot of the stuff I'd been taught was just bullshit, and the fact that, it really didn't make any sense. Now, that's not to say everything that I was taught was dumb. I mean, the general idea of, being, quote-unquote real, that also kind of goes into it as well. I mean, the fact that, I never thought of scaling back the intensity. I never thought, I never will, because that's not conducive. I mean, that's not who I am. I mean, I'm the kind of person that'll put in, long, hard days at work and then go out, obviously taking a decently long nap after that, but then, go out and drive his tricked-out car hard for hours and hours and hours on end. That's just what I do. I mean, it's not that I need a lot of activity. I just am really, really intense. I have a lot of energy, and I got to do shit with it. And if I don't, I get really bored and antsy. And that way, I'm a lot like my dog Rachel, who's a Cairn Terrier, who's just a bundle of hyperactivity. And I probably have a touch of that, at least. Oh, no. Bad touch. Stranger danger. Yeah, I didn't... Oh, no! Oh, he just dead stopped himself there. That was beautiful. But, and I think that's interesting, just seeing that how, some model. I agree with the general thrust that personality remains stable over time. I mean, I imagine I'm going to be not wild, but I'm going to be kind of a live wire, certainly into my late adulthood and age. And I know I'm going to always have a big fleet of cars, and I'm going to enjoy them. I mean, those cars make me feel amazing, and the fact that for as long as there are intense driving and fun cars, there will be people who will be drawn to that, and the fact that I imagine my friends group may change to some degree, but the general profile that they have, I imagine it won't. I mean, my mentor Susan, I imagine, is probably going to be here until dinosaurs come back to life. Yeah, full-on Jurassic Park style. And then, people like Matt and Henry, and certainly, I mean, I'm telling Sophie this, but, people like Dave and Matt, Matt and Henry, I don't think they realize the amount of cost, and both in time, money, and insanity that go into raising children. I mean, the fact that you're adding somebody that, first of all, you don't really have any control over as to how they develop. I mean, maybe for the first 3 or 4 years, but they're going to start going their own way. I mean, part of the reason why I ended up having such a really crazy, I wouldn't even call it a relation, just a really messed up way about going about things. No, not even that. I say the biggest source of conflict and existential, issues, so to speak, between my parents. Certainly between my dad and I, who's a complete asshole, but that's a completely other story. Even if he had never done some of the stupid stuff that he did to me, even if he didn't do that, I still wouldn't be very close to him because, for him, he was an idiot masquerading as something other than that. And the fact that for him, he never wanted to learn, he never wanted to, get better and improve his reasoning and debate skills. Whereas me, it's that sort of thing. It's a blank slate. It's the same way my cars and driving style is the same way. I mean, there's always more you can learn, and that shouldn't discourage you. That should just tell you there's so much you can practice and improve on. I mean, and it's up to you as to where it wants to go. I mean, obviously, given how I drive, I like getting smoother, because driving smooth allows you to drive fast, cleanly. But and it was fun. I'll never forget it. My mom ended up saying that. You said it was amazing how you always were forward thinking and just trying to improve and make things better. And your father just wanted this crystallized, like 6-year-old version of you. I said, well, yeah, I'm not. He's like, no wonder why he came to hate me, because I was always pulling away from that little contrived model, so to speak. I mean, you compare me now to how I was at age 6. I mean, probably the only thing I do worse now at 24 than I did at 6 was empathy. There's always a casualty of war. There's always something that has to die when you're improving in other areas. I mean, it may not even be something you think is important. Like in my case, I could give a fuck about empathy. Like, I don't use it very often, and I don't need it to be used very often on me. So it's not. Is it really a loss at that point? Not really. But what is this convict doing? Or Impala? What? Oh, even less than to choose for an Impala to miss that one. Oh boy. But the fact that different course of development. I mean, the fact that my dad couldn't accept the fact that he was kind of a scumbag, and he liked to control people, and he wanted people to just be a certain way with him and to him, even if that's not how they were. And the sensible reaction to finding that, oh yeah, this person isn't exactly a good quote unquote fit for me, is to just find somebody else. I mean, there's enough differences in personalities that you will find someone that fits the criteria. I mean, whether that means you can successfully pursue ties and misadventures and bonding with them, that's a completely other story. But, on paper, there really is a person to fit every mold. I mean, there's so much difference in personality. I mean, just intuitively, I can see that. But, the fact that I could see that at 13, 14, the fact that my dad at upwards of 60 couldn't, that's pretty goofy. I mean, and he was just kind of an idiot about things in general. Like, really, really idiotic. And that's not even counting the stupid shit he did to me. I mean, mean, that's a whole other story. But it just goes to show, stallions are terrible.
Yeah.